Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to solve lots of equations and inequalities. So let's get started. All right, problem number 1, we need to solve for A. This is a one-step equation. So all we have to do is add 5 to both sides, and that's all we have to do to solve it. So A is equal to 15 plus 5 is 20. We can check to see if this is the right answer. Replace A with 20. 20 minus 5, is that 15? Yes, that is 15, so that is correct. All right, let's go to the next one. This is also a one-step equation. All we have to do is divide both sides by 2 to solve for B. So B is 16 divided by 2, which is 8. And we can check. 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, we're going to add 7 to both sides first, because we're solving for y. This will cancel. Do not forget to copy down the minus. So this is going to be minus y, or negative y, equals 17. All right, to help you make more sense of this, you can always insert a 1 in front of the variable if there is no number. So now what we have is negative 1y. Now we can see that we have to divide both sides by negative 1 to solve for y. So the negative 1 will cancel, and we'll have y equals negative 17. We can also check, is negative 17 correct? Well, negative 7 minus negative 17, does that equal 7? Well, negative 7 plus 17, does that equal 7? Yes. 17 minus 7 is 7. 7 equals 7. We checked. We know our answer, negative 17, is correct. All right, moving on to number 4. We can multiply both sides by the reciprocal. If you have a variable and there is no number, you can always put a 1 in front of that. So this can be rewritten this way: 1/6 n equals 8. That means the same thing. Now we can go ahead and multiply both sides by the reciprocal, which will be 6 over 1. 6 over 1. The 1's will cancel, the 6's will cancel. We'll have n equals 8 times 6 is 48. You can turn that into a fraction if you're confused. Okay, let's keep going. We want to solve for v. So we're going to start by subtracting 8 from both sides. So v equals 4. And we can check. 8 plus 4 is 12. All right, we want to solve for m. So we're going to subtract 19 from both sides to isolate for m. So this will cancel. We'll have negative 3m equals negative 11. We'll divide both sides by negative 3. All right, so 3 goes into 11 3 times, because 3 times 3 is 9. We take 9 from the top, you're still left with 2/3. And this is a negative divided by negative, so this is going to be positive. So my answer is positive. All right, let's keep going. So let's solve for b here. We're just going to add 4 to both sides. And we'll have b is less than 18. And it doesn't say to graph, so we're not going to graph. All right, we're going to solve for b here. We're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So multiply this side by 3 over 1, this side by 3 over 1. The 1's will cancel, the 3's will cancel. We'll have b is less than or equal to. You can turn that into an equation. So we'll have 9. We're going to solve for x here by dividing both sides by negative 16. All right, anytime you divide by a negative coefficient, you're going to have to flip the sign. So let's see, 256, divide that by 16, and we're going to get 16. So x is less than or equal to, because we're dividing a positive divided by negative, it's going to be negative. So it's going to be negative 16. And we can check, type negative 16 times negative 16, that is 256. Two-step equations, because we have to do two things. We'll start by subtracting 6 from both sides. So we'll have 6 is greater than or equal to 2x. Then we'll divide both sides by 2. We'll have x on this side is less than or equal to 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay? This can be rewritten if you choose this way. X is less. So x is less than or equal to 3. All right, let's divide both sides by negative 20 to solve for x. So we'll have x on this side is less than, well, 400 divided by negative 20, that's going to be negative 20. All right, let's keep going. Divide both sides by negative 21. And x is less than, and we did divide by a negative number, so we're going to have to flip our sign. And 42 divided by negative 21 is negative 2. So negative 2 is greater than x. Or you could say it this way, x is less than negative 2. You could even write it that way. So x, it's pointing to the one that's less, x is less than negative 2. All right, let's keep going. These are also two-step problems. So we're going to start by adding 6 to both sides. And we will have negative 2 is greater than m. Actually, this was a one-step problem. You could rewrite that if you like. You don't have to. M is less than negative 2. Okay, that might be helpful when you have to graph the solution set. All right, let's keep going. Number 14. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. We'll have 1/2 x is less than or equal to 6 plus 4 is 10. To solve for x, we're going to have to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. 2 over 1. 2 over 1. The 1's will cancel. The 2's will cancel. We'll have x is less than or equal to, if it helps, turn this into a fraction. 10 times 2 is 20. And 1 times 1 is 1. So 20 over 1 is the same thing as 20. So the answer is x is less than or equal to 20. Do not write 20, okay? Because it's not just 20. It's 20 or less, anything that is less. So your final answer should be this inequality. All right, let's keep going. Subtract 5 from both sides. We'll have negative 1/3 from here. B is less than, well, 9 minus 5 is 4. To solve for B, we're going to have to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Negative 3 over 1 times negative 3 over 1. The 1's will cancel, the 3's will cancel. We'll have B. Remember, we just multiplied both sides by a negative coefficient, so we're going to have to flip the sign. All right, we can turn that into a fraction if it helps, and we'll have 4 times negative 3. That's going to be negative 12, and that's our final answer. All right, so we're going to use our calculator here just a little bit. We're going to have to start by adding 3.5 to both sides. So we'll have 1.2x is less than or equal to, that's going to be 10.7. We'll divide both sides by 1.2. So x is less than or equal to, all right, 10.7. Divide that by 1.2, and we're going to get 8.92 since it says round to the nearest hundredths. So we rounded to the nearest hundredths. All right, number 17. We just have to divide both sides by 3.2, and we will have solved for x. So that should be 3. All right, let's keep going. Divide both sides by negative 18 to solve for x. We're dividing by a negative coefficient, so we have to flip the sign. This is going to be x is greater than negative 3. You have a positive being divided by a negative, so our answer is going to be negative. All right, let's keep going. All we're doing here is just graphing. Okay, so let's just say, let's put 0 here. And we know x, we know negative 15 is somewhere to the left. Doesn't matter. Put it over here. Doesn't matter where you put it. We're just using this line. And we need to show that it's greater. It's going to be an open circle. And the line is going in this direction to include all those numbers that are greater than 15. All right, we'll graph this. We'll put 0 here at the center. And let's say this is 25 right here. So our circle will start here, and our solution set will be all those numbers in this direction. All right, we'll put 0 here at the center. Negative 3 will be somewhere to the left. It doesn't matter where you put it. Because there are no numbers, we're just going to show that number on the number line to save time. And now we'll graph it. So it's going to be equal to, so you're going to close. You need to include negative 3 and all those numbers that are less. Okay, so 0 here, 10. Let's say 10 is somewhere over here. And it is equal to or greater. So it's all those numbers or greater. All right, number 23, we're simplifying. So we're multiplying here powers with the same base 6. So we'll keep the same base 6. We have a negative, we'll keep that too. And 3 plus 5 is 8. Keep the same base x. And we'll just add 9 minus 2 is 7. All right, this is the same, similar. Keep the same base 4. But there is a negative outside. We'll have to copy that. 3 times 3. I'm sorry. 3 plus 3 is 6. Keep the same base y and add. So negative 6 plus 2 is going to give us negative 4. But remember, this is a negative power. Remember what I told you? Negative powers switch sides. So our final answer is going to be negative 4 to the 6th power divided by y to the 4th. Okay? All right, and same thing here. Again, negative exponents will switch sides. You can think about it this way. If we just had this to solve, that is the same thing as 1 over m to the 7th. Okay? So if we did that here, 3 times 1 over, let me erase all this, 1 over m to the 7th, you'll end up with these two fractions. 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times m to the 7th is m to the 7th. Okay? But if you just remember, all negative powers switch sides. All you have to do is leave the 3 in the numerator and drop m to the negative 7th to the denominator and change its sign. All right, to make this a little bit more clear, you can always put a 1 in front of any variable that has no number. So that's going to be the same thing as 1 over b to the 4th power. And this concludes this video on solving equations and inequalities.